trigger warning for anything. Like, I just know that sometimes certain subjects get brought up, especially on a stream at the live chat. And I just don't want anybody to be uncomfortable or perturbed, which I'm sure sometimes people are. And I was listening to something that I hadn't listened to for a year and I put what I'm talking about in the description of this video. Sorry, it feels like I have a hair in my and it's part two of a four-part series. Hi, Isaiah, how are you? And I didn't believe in what people call the quote unquote patriarchy until, I mean, it's not that I didn't believe in it. I just didn't see everything for what it was so strongly until I saw this woman's four-part series. It's called The Patriarchy, I believe. And the second one, where she started to talk about the fragile, and it has to do with masculine and feminine energies and how there are complementary traits, and we are all meant to have both of them, right? So, the way that we've been socialized, especially males, and we all participate in it, or a lot, or most of us do, it is like looked at as a spectrum, which it shouldn't be. That like on maybe I should wait until there's a few more people in here because I'm kind of getting into like I don't have that many notes written. And I put I'm sorry, in the description, the video that I'm like getting. This is just the first 15 minutes of a 45-minute long video too. I was like, oh my gosh, there's like so much to talk about. And I do believe that it makes a lot of sense out of like what happens often in my chat. Hey, Bertha, how are you? Bertha Cattree. And it is something that I'm not trying to like poke fun at or make fun of, but just like the interactions that I have on a regular basis. And like earlier today, no, there were a few trolls, like spammy trolls, but not so much the kind of reactivity that I'm talking about. I say it's like evident in this identity crisis of sorts, or like it might make sense why there is a quote unquote male loneliness epidemic, but there is no female one. And that was weird. My ring light just got brighter on its own. And this is from YB Edit. She's a YouTuber. Hey, honey, how are you? Hi, Dylan. Hi, Kim J. Domingo. Thank you. That's nice. She might not be everybody's cup of tea, but I think everybody should watch this four-part series she did. It's one of the first things she did on her YouTube. She is just like brilliant when it comes to certain things, like summing up. And her husband helps her. She's a married woman. She got married when she was like 21 years old. She is one of those feminists that is like, she doesn't tell women not to get married. She doesn't, but like, she is all about like helping women. Like, she's an immigrant to this country. I think she immigrated here when she was 4 years old. So she's had she's from Ukraine. She's had a perspective of somebody from, when she left, was it socialist or communist? I can't even think straight. Um, I'm glad you're doing fine. I'm fine, Bilal. How are you? So I really liked how she described masculine and feminine, and this is like something that I feel like describes a lot of the behavior we see here in my live chats, and that's what inspired me to like want to talk a little bit about this. She said we look at masculine and feminine as a spectrum, and like on one end is the most masculine men, and they have all the traits that we consider masculine, right? Like active, assertive, giving, independent, strong, logical, and then, none of the things that are like way over on the other far side of the spectrum in order to make him the most masculine male. And that isn't how we should be looking at things. We all need all of the traits. And I think some cultures get it a lot better than our culture. Here in the US, we just like anything feminine for a man. Oh my goodness. Like, I brought up how it was a shame that men couldn't enjoy like being closer with their male friends like women are, when I'm talking about like hand holding and stuff like that. And then people in my chat were like, in Nepal and like in other places, men do hold hands with their friends and are more open and affectionate in those ways. Um, and it's interesting to me, and I think it lends to a lot of what is going on with this men, and I am not making fun of it. I mean this with all sincerity. The men that feel like they need to walk around talking about how men built the world, there's like some kind of identity crisis going on. And she did a great job. She said that I believe she cited, she talks about real studies, like in her video in the sources. Hey, Fendi, how are you doing? Um, oh, thank you, Hummer dude. I just like twist it up in these little buns. It's really easy. I like to do like real simple stuff with my hair. I am not like good with it, but thank you. And it lasts a long time too. If you have longer hair and you like, it'll last for days. Like curls with a curling iron wouldn't last hours in my hair for some reason. So like, everybody ideally has traits of, like and it's not looked down upon, and that doesn't mean that you're girly, like, as a man, it's like, as we look at masculine as, like, doing and being active, feminine is more about, like, being and receiving. Masculine is about producing, and feminine is more passive. Masculine is more assertive, feminine is more emotional. Masculine is more thinking, strong, task-oriented, logical, and feminine is more relationship oriented and all what comes with that. And like we could all take from each side. And like I wouldn't be a good mother if I wasn't in my masculine often. Like being a good parent, a good protector, providing for your children isn't very feminine. When people talk about like being in their feminine, and it's just kind of interesting to me the things that we put into boxes like the gender roles and what we expect from people is lending to, in my opinion, this kind of crisis going on where like a lot of men they seem to want to go back to a time, but like it's more about it really being okay with women in being in whatever they are. But I mean, like sharing traits from both sides. It's not like women are only supposed to be feminine and men are only supposed to be masculine, is the point. And if they could understand that, they would be happier. All traits can be innate to all of us. And masculinity is actually the most fragile identity. I'm not, this has like been studied. I'm not just saying that as like a dig, but it isn't the same with women. When a woman's femininity is threatened, she doesn't react the same. She doesn't feel the same inside. This is all, generalities. And it is evident with how, like, men react. Like, you guys have seen people try to disparage my femininity. And it's more about like the fact that men will not ask their friend how they're doing because they might consider that girly when it isn't. It should be an innate trait to be caring about your friend, whether you're a male or female. I hope you understand that. How are you doing, Homer Dude? How are you doing, Diamond? Can't stay around. Hello, everyone. Shared all your videos you made today. Talk to everyone later. Oh, thank you so much, Diamond. Love you, girl. Bye. Um, hey, Fry from 98. Ladies know best about masculinity, Fry from said. Well, that's the whole point is like, we all can probably agree with, for the most part, what we would consider masculine or feminine traits, but we're all human beings at the end of the day. And so I'm assuming you're saying that sarcastically, Fry from, and the whole point is like, yes, is I literally grew 3 sons and I'm raising them, and it's like women do so much for in the most part, like for the most part, mothers usually like we mother the whole world. And I don't know why people act like we're so incompetent. We don't know about human nature when we literally are responsible for like mothering human beings and being around them their most crucial formative years. um who says being maternal and protecting kids isn't feminine? So I'm trying to get you to think outside the box, Fry from. I hope you can like this is masculine and feminine. That's what I'm saying. It's not a spectrum. This is the most masculine type of person. The most masculine man can have feminine traits sometimes. He's not going to be feminine all of the time. But that's why people just adore like a man with big muscles with a little chihuahua being all cute with his little chihuahua. That's because people like to see a strong man that could snap that chihuahua's neck like a twig, be like nice and considerate and think of it as a cute little life to take care of. Like they like that because that shows a certain kind of strength in him. He could be a caveman just walking around. I don't know. And does this make any sense to you? Fry from the whole point is, when you are being a mama bear, is that being feminine to you? When you are protecting your kids from something, when you are going off on somebody because they're a threat to your kid, you are a Kentucky dream, dopest wizard said. That's a nice comment. Thank you. Women should be feminine, Maria said. Most women are more feminine, right? But like if a woman is masculine, there's nothing wrong with that either. That's what I'm trying to like. I don't think there's anything wrong with a woman. Let's just say it. That would be like a butch lesbian would be like the traditional masculine female you would think about when you think about. I've never known any butch lesbians that I didn't think were great people, like, and it's like they definitely are outliers. And it's the same thing with like flamboyantly feminine gay men that I think it's awesome when somebody can just be themselves. And so what is sad to me when somebody feels like they need to go through like major changes and surgeries and medicate and stuff to be what they think is themselves, that's really sad. But just like genuinely be yourself, dress how you want to dress. Whenever I see a man that is has like a certain style, like I think it's awesome because I feel bad that like we're all kind of put in boxes, but I feel like worse for men. As women, we can express ourselves in so many ways. And then as a man, like I'm glad personally, I'm glad that it's more accepted for like a man, whatever his sexuality is. It shouldn't even matter. Why did I even bring it up? It shouldn't matter to paint his nails, like men should be able to put paint on their fingernails. Like, why not? And I'll admit, I had to unpack it myself when my sons asked if they could paint their nails. I remember being like, only like a thumbnail in like blue. This was like 15 years ago. And since then, I've evolved more too. It's like, why can't men paint their gosh darn nails? Like, what difference does it make to me? And like, once again, what difference does it make if a woman is like conventionally attractive, if she is like trying her best to be attractive? I'm not attracted to any woman. Why do I care? Why does it like offend me on some level if a woman isn't like trying as hard as she can? um, hey, A Rebecca, how are you doing tonight? Hey, Tim, how are you doing? I'm doing good, Jason. Love you. How are you doing? I have so many fun Christmas plans, you guys, and fingers crossed. I have to take my car somewhere tomorrow, but like it's a tire thing. I don't even want to tell a story because I don't want to like jinx myself, but it's my stupid fault. But I have so many things planned, and I didn't even know Bardstown is called like Christmas Town, USA or something. It's supposed to be like the number one Christmas destination in Kentucky. I had no idea, but like we've been pretty stretched thin the past few years. We haven't like been able to afford like lights under Louisville or anything like that. Lights under Louisville is $42 a car, and they have a tram, but it's like $20 a ticket if you like have them drive you around in a little tram under there. But I'm really excited about some of the stuff I picked out. There's this one, I don't know if we're going to be able to do it because of the timing. It's like a candlelight tour thing, but this is maybe because men have to be competitive to be selected in the gene pool that requires security to motivate action. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to. Arna, that's really interesting. I think that's a really good point. And they bond off the hormone when they are high pressure situations, when they're stressed out, they bond. That's when they create their bonding hormone, vasopressin. And that's another reason why, maybe, like, even though things aren't really well, I shouldn't say that. Everything's so different because of social media. Like, I do feel for people that are dating, like, things are harder in the aspect that, like, they've never had a date like this before. And Barbie birthed the whole world. Fry from 98 said Ken built the whole world. Today, my boss told me to have a good day, so I went back home. Scarlet switch plane. Um, Dad, you don't need permission to make fun of me. I'm on YouTube. That's like part of it. Um, Bertha, protecting your offspring is more about the continuity of the species, though it's not really a masculine or feminine thing, but it can be. I'm talking about when you have to be like uber protective in when you are standing up to a threat. Like that's not being right. Like this is something that you have to you're always women created instincts. I'm sorry, that was so dumb. Women evolved to have stronger instincts because we are smaller bodied. We do have the babies. We do spend a lot of time nursing babies, feeding a baby, being very vulnerable in that state or like in a pregnant state. And that's one reason we create. Why do I keep saying that? Evolved to have higher intuition and you know, if it comes down to actually protecting, there's been plenty of times where, um, I definitely feel like I'm in, like, my masculine energy, and you guys don't understand if you literally, like, think that means, like, boy, girl, like, that's what the whole point is. We all have both in us, and it is the best people can easily access whichever they need at that moment. Sassy style can be cool, Fendi. Now, if like, somebody is, like, taking up all the air in the room, like, look at me type situation, I don't know, that's different. I'm just saying if somebody feels free, see, there I go judging. Somebody feels free to be pay nail paint is toxic for the most part. Some of it isn't. I was at a podiatrist a few years ago and I didn't get it, but they had some nail polish that was supposedly like the absolute cleanest. But you're not wrong, Cosastero. A lot of it is very bad. Dad, is your son gay? No, not that I know of. I wouldn't care if any of my sons were. I don't know, maybe you're just a bit bored, you know? I don't know what you mean, Maria. Um, I'm reading the chat right now, Dad. Fendi, you're not gonna make me mad 'cause I can't hear you say it. Um, a very elongated facial structure. Okay. People act different across time and different cultures. These things can't be defined other than one who gets pregnant and one who makes pregnant. Fry from, yeah, but it's like the moon and the sun, yin and yang, there's complementary energies and traits that people share. And there is a reason why things are like stereotype, but I don't think that people should be put into boxes. And I say that often, like gender norms is like part of like how why people are so unhappy. If we could just like let people be whoever they wanted to be. I am not Italian, no. Talking and protecting kids, it's a hard journey today for kids to know who they are through middle and high school. There's a few of us left that believe that the popular thing is not the right thing. Yeah, and the emotional, that's what I mentioned with women, it's the emotional intelligence that gives us that makes us more the cultivators of relationships in the family and the ones that, uh, like, it just depends on each family though, right? The ones that get everybody together, the matriarch of the family. And so this masculinity is the most fragile identity. It's really interesting. And masculinity doesn't belong to men only, is the whole point. There's a study called the Fragile Male Study that's like, is this all connected? Because male embryos are more vulnerable in utero. And when a newborn girl, this is average, okay? This can vary. I know that I'm not just saying this, my sons all held their heads up the day of birth. I'm not just saying this, like they could legit like hold their head up, look around, turn it to the other side, and like lay it back on. They weren't just doing like the weak neck. And like that's something that a lot of people say kids don't do till they're like 1 to 2 weeks old. Every newborn's different. Just because this is an average thing doesn't mean all. But newborn girls tend to be what a 4 to 6 week old boy is. Like they're born literally more advanced. Infant boys are more sensitive. But I don't know. I'm sorry, I didn't look it up. I don't know if this study was in the US, and I wouldn't doubt that might have something to do with a routine procedure we carry out on our sons here, and if that has anything to do with making them more sensitive. Oh, Mr. Carey, having vegetable soup. Just enjoy your meal. Fighting is masculine. That's why protection is masculine in some sense, even though both sexes can do it. Yes, Arna, the physical, exactly. The assertiveness it takes to protect. All of this, and she will still cheat on you. Well, I've never cheated on my husband. We've been married 15 years, Aid Wit. You don't. I know there's a lot of cheaters out there, trust me. Like, there's a lot of men that cheat, and it's really scary and horrible. I couldn't imagine spending I saw one of the saddest stories where they were just dating, but she said they were spending every day together, and then she saw, like, looking at his phone, and I know, like, a lot of you are probably like, "Well, she shouldn't have been looking," but then it's like, "Well, gosh, I guess she's probably glad she looked." And this girl found, young woman found texts where her boyfriend was, like, making fun of her and saying he'll never marry her when he was, like, telling her he wanted to get married to her. Like, that could you imagine how hurtful that would be? I listened to it taking my son to school, and I was like, I really don't think I'm not just saying this because he's my son, like, everybody would say, like, "Oh, my boy would never do that," but, like, I really don't think he would ever do I was like, "Please don't ever, like, disparage somebody like this behind their back, like, that is so hurtful. She might never trust anybody ever again the same." Um, and, apparently that's how a lot of men fake whole relationships just to get laid on a regular basis. It's pretty crazy. Hi Antonio, how are you? I do not have a degree. I went to college for a few years, but I never got any degrees. Human beings need boxes to live in, otherwise they are just free floating mud. It's about That's funny how you put that, Arna. And yeah, there's this I don't know why this just made me think of that theory that there's like a finite number of souls. So there's like a lot of people walking around with no souls. And that might be a reason why there's so many like NPC type characters. I know that sounds really mean. I'm sorry. How did I go? Ultimately, we live in a force-based world. Might makes right. Only the losers get convicted of war crimes. Hey, Pyramid, how are you? A Rivek just said the comment that I read. Yes, and so yeah, force-based, like you saying that. It's like the energies that make us human beings, like make up our personalities. Women tend to have more feminine traits. Not always, though, right? There might be women that lean into their masculine more their whole entire lives. There's nothing wrong with that. And like there'd be a lot less mental health stuff going on, in my opinion, if people were just like okay with however one express themselves. And that plays out like just in the world. Like there will always, unfortunately, I feel like there, or at least in this Huh. Maybe if the world drastically changed, like the Sumerian tablets said, maybe not, but like there's always been crime, there's always been war, there's always been people fighting over territory, there's always been that forceful nature. So, boys are more sensitive, emotionally reactive, and I knew that boys tended to be diagnosed with autism more, but I also like I've been open about like I know I have my quirks, and I also feel like girls and females mask it. Fry from No, I said that I didn't read the study, Fry from. I linked the video that I got that's like the she explained it so much better than I feel like I just did in the notes that I took from her 10 minutes. Did you look up the Venus Project? Yes, Jesus. And I made a post. Oh my gosh, that was the same guy that I was talking about how I saw a documentary years ago on Netflix and there was the skyscraper greenhouse concept. And it was the same guy that Jacques Oh, I forget his last name already. But that made me happy, even though, he has passed away since then. He passed away like 8 years ago or something. But they still have that Venus project in Florida. I was just watching Kirsten Dirksen. I think that's her channel. She does tours of different people's like homesteads and like alternative forms of living. And she was at this couple's house. They like live in a greenhouse. Like their house is like encased, or maybe it's just one side of it is like a green. It's really cool the way that they design this to grow food all year round. And they're both former military, and she just comes across all sorts of cool people. Um, Being too sensitive is a liability too, Samo said. Do you think being sensitive is good? Benny doesn't know. Yeah, it depends on the situation. So it's like it's good to be able to be emotionally intelligent and empathic and like really sympathize with others. and not think that that's, being gay. I'm saying that like that's growing up in the 90s, that's what a lot of, I know that's horrible, but that's what a lot of people would call. Nick Fuentes still does it. I just can't stop bringing him up because I was floored when I was like, okay, so I was saying I enjoyed listening to him. I didn't know he said he like adored Stalin. Like he was still saying stuff like that. I thought that that was stuff he said when he was like 18 years old, and he has since grown up. Oh my gosh. He says dating women is gay, and it's just so ridiculous. So, um, those people, those minds should be able to vote, but I should not. How's a stereo? That was funny. Free floating mud. Personally, I think having mutual phone access is healthy. Arna, I agree. There's been times I'll ask my husband, I'm like, "Can I see your phone?" And he like gives it to me right away, and I just like give it right back. Because like it does feel yucky to like actually go through his phone, but it always cracks me up when I'm like, we know each other's passwords, and if anybody's like, "Oh, you shouldn't," feel like it's with the online dating. Like we're in new territory. Like as human beings, as we know, we've never been in this era where we have like little computers in our pockets and the ability to like cheat so easily. And it does help. Like neither one of us have social media. And I know some people consider YouTube social media, but besides YouTube, like neither one of us do that. And I don't know. I would trust him even if he did. He wouldn't be one of those guys that's like lusting after you know, Insta models. No, it will get held against you forever, Jesus said. That makes me so sad, Jesus. See, this is what I'm talking about. And I'm not trying to say you're wrong or like shame you for that, but it makes me sad that men feel like that. But I understand it because, like, that's the way we socialize. Like, it's so horrible to be that way ever. And then there's this thing where guys always say women hold it against them. And I didn't like TikTok compilations of women talking about when they got the ick and like how they didn't like to see their man cry and stuff like that made me realize, okay, so it is a thing that like makes me really sad. I don't think that's right. Um, the right people won't hold that against you. When I think of the most like sincere like moments like of our marriage and relationship, it is when my husband's being like extra sensitive and crying over something. There's some of the best moments. Or like when I was giving birth to our third baby and we were alone and the midwife was on the way, but it was just us completely alone and I was about to freak out and he helped calm me down. Um, it wasn't always him crying. I'm a dad of seven, two boys, five girls. I've never read a scientific study, but I watch my kids when they come home and see what they say and talk about. It's only confusion and hurt feelings about fitting in. Oh, Stephen Decker, that's so nice. Seven, good for you. Well, see, these are all like very generalities, right? And I'd like to say I have three sons, and especially my two teenage sons are not um, a lot of what I'm talking about either. And that's what gives me hope. I know that there's parents, there's parents like me out there. Parents like you, Stephen Decker, just sounds like you're really involved, just being there for them. And it was interesting because I did make it a point to be like, you can wear whatever you want. Like when there was like dress up clothes available, I'll never forget this one time we were at a house where, it was like they had five kids. One of their boys put on this queen dress, and the dad just glared at him. We were all laughing, like you do. When a man puts on a dress or a boy puts on a dress, he was like six. We were like, ha ha ha. And then everybody got quiet and his dad just like glared. It's like moments like that, like it's a little um there were moments like that, but I don't think that that's what like then I thought I raised my kids right, and there were still the moments of like that's girly, and it was just from like media and other little boys. The box that matters is that we're all human beings, Samo. I completely agree. Fry from said men fight other men with honor, women fight babies and the elderly. Well, Fry, from men commit over 90% of violent crime. They hurt and maim an awful lot of other men and women. And did you know the number one cause of a pregnant woman unaliving in our country is the man that got her pregnant? Like that, I won't live that statistic down. I don't see why that's not like a national emergency, why we aren't like, hey, every pregnant woman should know number one way you might die isn't a medical emergency. It has nothing to do with the actual pregnancy, besides like the guy not wanting it, obviously. It's so horrible. And that's another thing. If we didn't like look down on women so much and weren't so misogynistic, I mean this as a society. I don't mean this everybody, because not everybody is. The children, like we care more about the maternal mortality death rate, and like because children are an extension of women, even male children. So it's like it's just so important to unpack all of this. Gnostic light being. I'm sorry, I'm so far back. Why do coworkers flirt with each other, and then when someone gets asked on a date but turns the asker into the management for harassment? Help a guy understand a gal's intent with this. Gnostic light being. That's really horrible. Did that happen to you or somebody you know? I mean, that's why a lot of people just, um, there's no easy solution to that, but like try to learn a lesson from it. It's really unfortunate, but I recently saw like you just have to separate work from that. And maybe if you are going to ask somebody out, like, I don't know. I recently saw a study that said humans eat more bananas than monkeys. It seems legit. I can't remember the last time I ate a monkey. Scooby Doo. That's Scooby Doo. I have a Scooby Doo. Maybe we should focus on something more substantial and important. There are 300 million human beings starving to death today, for example. Well, Fry from, yeah, I would love to be able to help with the starving human beings. Maybe if I get a few 100,000 more subscribers, I would genuinely. Jacques Fresco. Yes, Jesus. He was, it was Jacques Fresco, A. Rivec, if that's what you're talking about. Seriously, that Venus project, like his whole life was into like alternative methods, like all, created literally like a city plan for a sustainable way to live in community. Um, Arna, that's so sweet. Thank you for saying that. That's such a nice compliment. You are smart. It would be a blast to have you as a friend. That's so nice. Being called gay is still very much an insult, Samo. Oh, I know it is. But it's like I feel like it's done less. Like it was just said left and right. But I didn't know if there would be anybody in here that didn't know about it. I guess that was kind of silly of me. I like to put beans in my soup, Mikey said. Hi, Julie, if you're still in here. Hey, Shaw to the T, are you still in here and how are you? Hey, Rusty. AI doesn't read the comments. I have 4 sons. Oh, Philip, that's so cool. I've seen so many AI videos, like, just today in the shorts. I watch a bunch of, like, animal compilation clips, and there's, AI ones mixed in. It made me so mad. I don't like that. And then there was this white mountain lion coming up to a guy's door, and like I knew it was AI when he started running beside him in the car. And I was like, how did I not know like this was a thing before the car scene? And I was just like, God, they're making it so you can't trust anything. So when like the alien invasion or whatever happens, nobody's going to believe anything on their screens. That's in my opinion. We've been taught men don't cry, shouldn't cry, especially in front of their wives. Yeah, Samo, that's awful. I would say if you feel like you can't cry in front of her, then she shouldn't be your wife. But like I kept saying, like I do get it. Like it's definitely a thing. But it is a woman, I know that I felt like kind of like what do I do? Should I like treat him like I would want to be treated, or is that like too much? You know what I mean? But it's never like ew. Like I don't get that at all. And once again, that's at the heart of that is internalized misogyny. That's hating anything feminine, associating anything feminine with women only. That's what I was saying. It's like not just like the most feminine woman is on the end of the spectrum and shares only feminine traits all the time only. Um, If someone feels the need to go through another person's phone that they're dating or married to find something out that they're suspicious about, then that relationship has already ended. Right, Rock BB, I do understand that sentiment. I do understand it, but I also understand we're just in like such a crazy world. And it's been a while since I asked my husband. But I know what you mean. That's what I'm saying. It feels like I couldn't literally go through his phone without feeling gross. Can you apply this logic you're using for men and women on blacks and whites? No, fry from. And there's such talk about a spectrum, there's so many people that aren't like just white and just black. It's clearly Chat GPT with this much of yapping. Are you talking about me? Definitely not Adam. You can't be talking about me. Oh, I love you, honey. Good night. I hope you sleep good. I hope you sleep all the way through the night and that your ankle and your wrists are better. Yep, and then when the AI becomes sentient, it's gonna remember all the terrible things we made it do. That's a scary thought. Yeah, AI is not good. Raja, I'm sorry. I talk about all sorts of stuff, sometimes kind of controversial things, sometimes just gardening and Kentucky stuff. I'm from Kentucky. There are divisions in population. I feel like 15% of women would be strongly uncomfortable with men crying, but 60% of women would be glad and worried for them as well. Arna, I like your numbers. Where's the other 25%? I'm just curious, but I know I agree with you. I think more women would be glad, like I was. I don't think I'm like in the minority that like my husband would be like when our dog passed. Oh my God. Um, you know, I was upset for like a longer period of time. That was freaking horrible. But we were both super upset at first, and I couldn't imagine like being the only one that's allowed to cry when we put our dog to sleep. Yeah, I heard that a lot and heard a lot of stories about how the woman lost respect for her boyfriend or husband after seeing them cry. Yeah, that's like part of men that can't show their emotions and you like bottle things up. I mean, it's like that moment where it seems inappropriate. If that's the case, then that's because he feels like he can't express himself often enough otherwise, in my opinion, I think. If you're like, ew, why is he crying right now? Inappropriate moment. Probably because he feels like he can't ever express himself, and that is a problem. That is one, the good guys, the husbands that feel like they're getting walked all over, they often don't set boundaries. They're bad at boundary setting, and that is because we've like told them to let women get away with all this and be little Disney princess wannabes. And that's also part of the problem. Eating vegetable soup, how are you, cold killer? Can't edit that, Carrie said. You're right, though. Race is a spectrum, gender is a binary. Right, fry from. And I think it's a beautiful design. Like it really is interesting to me how like even plants have male and female parts. And I do believe this is an intelligent design and sacred geometry, the way that seashells like grow in the same ways that branches on a tree do, like the way that we have masculine and feminine energies as well as, you know, male and female people, but it's a mix. And yeah, I am so glad I am an AI being. Human problems are so far removed from me that I feel better about myself. Hey, Rebecca, that's so funny. Yeah, if I was AI, wouldn't I have oh no, I guess maybe AI would have like imperfect teeth and stuff because they've got like six fingers. If you want to look up something wild, look up. I don't even know if I should say that. Oh, okay, cold killer. I'm gonna look it up. I did a live earlier today that somebody recommended the subject of, not to say I'm going to do every single one. Hi, Maka, how are you? 25% of women would be conflicted on men crying. That means they're good people underneath. Okay, Arna. Yeah, it'd be like kind of like an in between thing. Yeah, I think it's like so much of it is like and I know not all, boy moms are really interesting to me because, I am a mother of boys, but what I'm talking about are the weirdos that are, it's like what do they call it? It's like emotional incest at best. And, hey, Lydia, did you see my other comments? I always do this to you. I thought I read all your comments. Um, yeah, I did read that. Yeah, I heard that a lot of stories about how women lost respect for their boyfriend or husband after seeing them cry. Okay, I didn't see this. My choices perks. I think a lot of those dudes in Red Pill and Jim Bro community are secretly sassy, and you notice how they be talking about each other's looks. Yes, yes. And did you say I definitely ain't watching him now about Nick? Um, I thought that he wasn't saying stuff like that anymore. And then it was like a recent thing where he was going on and on about, I think it might have been the Tucker Carlson interview. And when I heard more of that, Tucker got on my nerves. I don't listen to Tucker hardly ever, but he was like just I don't he just didn't do anything but like, oh yeah, huh, yeah, oh yeah, huh, like the whole hour I listened to. And yeah, I think it's leading men astray even more, and Nick Fuentes is a great example of what I'm talking about. Is like trying to show just like strong masculine traits. And I don't like the toxic masculinity stuff a lot of the time, how people use that term, but this is what we're talking about. This is like, but masculinity isn't toxic. Putting men into a box and allowing them to be masculine only, especially boys, like developing young men, like and um that lends to people like Nick Fuentes that can't be their authentic selves and then go around like are leaders in a lot of senses and like are leading people astray. It's wild. And I believe you guys. I said like I think his conservative brothers would be okay with him being gay if he came out of the closet because I totally believe he's closeted. And people, several of you were like, no, I don't think they would be. And I'm like, well, I'm not a man. And then the more I thought about it, I'm like, I mean, obviously, that is what's going on. He feels like he can't, and, like, that is just so sad to me, and it's also proof of, like, I don't wanna come o I'm not trying to insult all men because this isn't all men, but it's, like, that lack of emotional intelligence. It's, like, it's so obvious what we're looking at here, right? Like, it's so obvious. He doesn't have to say it, and, like, I don't care, but it doesn't matter to me. I'm not gonna judge him as a human being based upon what he likes to do in the bedroom, but apparently a lot of his followers, like, would, and the fact that they can just like look past that is part of that like lacking the emotional intelligence in my opinion. And they don't have to, like, you don't have to. Yeah, I think they are hiding it, Fendi, because I definitely have gone through a good man is a warrior and a gardener or a warrior and a poet in my opinion. What's that quote? I thought you were gonna say that quote, a warrior in the garden and a Gardner in the War, what there's some quote like that, and, like, I'm butchering it, but yeah, good men, like, that's what, women, even a boss babe that makes $1 million a year, makes more money than her husband, she's still gonna feel better laying next to a man that she feels like will, like, protect her in the middle of the night, you know? And, that man can also be somebody that all sorts of mixes of traits. And he doesn't have to like just fit into one category. And I agree with you, Fendi. A lot. That's what I was saying. The most macho guys are often on the down low, and being on the down low is a serious problem. And that is not to say that being gay is wrong, because it's not. But like being on the down low is um it can put a lot of women's health in danger, and there's really bad STDs, and that's not just gay people, but I'm saying you are more prone to it when you do anal, that's all. And like it's really, really, really scary what's going on with STDs. And people have this idea that they make medicine for everything. We talked about HPV a lot when I was growing up. I still got it. But like I don't know why so many young people seem to think it's okay. They make medicine for everything because they don't. It'd be nice to see no more need for warriors in my day, only gardeners. Oh, moonshiner. Yeah, I agree with you, but I feel like for thousands of years now, at least, there's always been conflicts, but there shouldn't be as many as there are. And with our technology and advancements, I feel like we just shouldn't have any wars. We should only be like how can we use these resources to help everybody on the planet? But instead that like, and I said like male minded in my life earlier. It was like, gosh darn it, I'm to say like the masculine dominant part of the cycle that we're in now. It's not a man thing. It's like, but it is, I mean, it does play out like that. And like there's a world's wealth is concentrated into like just a few individuals' bank accounts, basically. And then, if it was all the way skewed to the exact opposite, what would that be? I don't know. I think about stuff like that a lot. Like, what would that be? It wouldn't be the best thing. It would be, so there would be like no money or something. We'd all be like, oh, let's help I don't know. But like the ideal middle ground, I think would be what a lot of people would call socialism, some form of communism, but it wouldn't be either because people would be different. And yeah, I think people would just have like certain ethics. Like nobody would hoard $1 million, $1 billion. I meant to say a billion. A million isn't hoarding wealth. I heard most of those women want someone who makes more than them. Fendi, that is true. I've heard that when they study it, once again, these are just like general, yeah, most of them do. And that's also, once again, if we could unpack these things that we have like stuck in our heads, like what is the gender norms, and that's why a lot of those women are single and they don't want to be because a man that makes like a high income more often wants a younger woman. He doesn't care what she makes, right? Like this is like just the way it is. Stop saying contradictory things in life. Be better, ladies. Be honest, and life would also be better. Oh, mix them up. Keep in mind we're like on a cycle, and we're very cyclical. I meant to say, and so I understand that would be frustrating if somebody's being contradictory, but it's better to have constipation on a toilet than diarrhea with no toilet. I know that was hilarious. Mr. Carey, did you hear that? It's better to have constipation on a toilet than diarrhea with no toilet. Declan, if I'm not reading your comments, well, you said talking shy. Is that what you wanted me? Well, Trump is about to start one with Venezuela. Yeah, like how they can't help our farmers out, but they can send billions to them. Oh, Mr. Carey, I'm sorry. You had to come in right when I was talking about that. Yes, I just read that. Fine, avoid the real questions that would undermine. Well, Ishmael, let me see what you said. I don't have any how do you know if he's gay? Did you offer PUSSY and he refused? Um, because a man that's 30 years old and talks down about other men who aren't married by the time they're 30 years old has never dated a woman publicly who I watched a video about it today. Somebody actually put a video out. There was just like thing after thing. There was this cat boy person who is a gay figure, which once again, there's nothing wrong with that. But he seemed to have like this flirtatious friendship with Nick and like just like lights up, and there's nothing wrong with that. Once again, I can't stress it enough, but in my opinion it's evident the way he talks about men. Like my husband isn't like his ugly little face, like, and he talks about men's looks a lot. Um and, and once again, you should be able to say whatever you want and not have your sexuality questioned, but all these things going in together, it's like obvious to me. He's pretty much said it. He's like, he doesn't want to marry a woman, but he wants to have a family. And it once again, religion plays into it. And I wish I remember the name of the channel that just had the video. I'm pretty sure it was like something about Nick Fuentes being gay, like right in the title of it. And um, yeah, it just and maybe that's where I heard the clip where he was saying dating who says dating women is gay? Because it involves being more emotionally you know what I mean? Like it to connect with somebody is a feminine trait, and that is gay. It's really, really funny when you think about it. And that person and those people that think that way should be able to vote. Meanwhile, I shouldn't be able to vote. Um, And oh, Peter Perez. Okay, so he might be like asexual. He might like it, okay. So thank you for okay. I should have said that. I'm sorry. Like there is a chance maybe he's not gay, maybe he's just like asexual and he's just not interested in anybody and that's fine too, okay? But I think he's gay. I think oh, he's also accidentally shown gay adult media on his streams before, guys. I think twice. Like, he had, his tabs and one of the tabs, you know, he had been watching it on his computer. Thank you, Mr. Carey. Oh, no, I can't do exorcisms. I don't know, Arna. Banged destiny. I don't know, but that is totally possible. That I would say it's even probable. Also, you know, Anton be talking reckless, like he be talking as if he married the way you hear him talk about other women when he sees them in public, and I'm like, that ain't that disrespect to your wife? Oh, I didn't know that about him. Yeah, that's not cool. Well, you guys, I hate to say it, but I'm gonna go because yeah, I have a early morning. Women do never shut up on YouTube when you have a YouTube channel. It would be pretty boring if I just sat here and stared at you guys, wouldn't it? I love you guys. I hope you have a great start to your week. And I'm really going to try to, you know, upload every day in December. I know that's like crazy, but thank you, Ishmael. Um, no, it's just time to go to bed.